So when we switched to the virtual format, it was like, how are we going to make sure that this continues? How are we going to make sure that this thing that we have like really built up to do is like going to be maintained? How can we really incorporate that in addressing COVID, right? And I think what was like really like so like highlighted throughout student governing board and Californians for Justice at the time, and making sure that our wellness was a priority because like so many students were just feeling isolated. They didn't have the resources to be able to succeed in their classroom environment, right? So since it was like, a virtual format. And I think because of that, we were able to find new ways of incorporating student voice, not just like in the student governing board. And so because of that, we were able to push for having student representation on our district's budget advisory committee. And then with with our Black Lives Matter resolution in response to the ongoing police brutality in our country, we were able to make a really big response on why ethnic studies was so important and why our perspectives need to be discussed and talked about within our own classroom spaces. And we were able to get student representation on the Instructional Policy Committee. And then we were able to really highlight how school safety, although we were not at school presently, was not really like working. Like we really need to re-envision how that is, and we were able to pass the Black Lives Matter resolution, get cops off of our campus, and instead prioritize mental health resources. And I think in terms of directly responding to COVID, we were able to form the COVID response task force. That's not even the exact name, but it's something like that, right? And they were able to have a bunch of students, not just in student governing board, but from other different schools, and we were able to have those recommendations made to the district on how to reopen and how to bring students back on campus in a way that was going to be safe and productive. And I think just having these different ways of incorporating student voice and like slowly making it up, because again, like that was like kind of a first step. Like we're on the way to make student voice like the number one kind of like make number one priority, because once again, like we're the ones who are the most impacted by all these, so we need to be the ones who are most heard. And I think just having these advances and seeing so many different students be able to speak their truths and be able to highlight different things happening in their communities, happening in their households, and making sure that these issues are being brought to light, I think was so impactful and created so many different changes. So we were able to make a great reopening plan where students were able to come back this year, right? And then we were able to really talk about how ethnic studies was going to be implemented. We passed the state seal of civic engagement, so students involved in these types of activities can be recognized by the district. We were able to make sure that we had our first mental health town hall, and because of that, the district is opening some mental health centers around different school sites. And so it was like, despite what was going on with the pandemic and with everything you saw in the news about racial injustice and the ongoing like systemic racism, right? We were able to actually see our district striving for the change that we have long fought for. And I think it's opening up so many more doors and outlets for us to be able to participate in these types of groups. And I think that is so important because I know like my life has changed by being part of Student Governing Board and Californians for Justice. And having more opportunities like these, it will just empower so many more students to become active in their classrooms and also make sure that they feel comfortable in their school setting and that they know that they have a voice.